All right, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of Shipwrecked with Pirate Stu.
And Princess Morgan.
I did it that time.
We don't even know how to wave.
Tune in all the time, you'll know what that's all about. So we just did our special Mother's Day edition of Shipwrecked, and we got talking about mothers. And because you asked who my favorite TV mother was, and I mentioned Khaleesi.
That's right.
Mother of Dragons, and so you wanted to talk about Game of Thrones because, believe it or not, folks, she has never seen Game of Thrones.
Not
Can you believe that?
one episode.
Leave the comments about what a despicable person she is below. Never seen Game of Thrones.
Or what a nice person I am.
Well, yeah, there's probably people out there that would applaud you for never having watched the Demon Hollywood saga Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so I don't know anything about it, but I do know that there is this major thing about the Starbucks cup of coffee on the table. So was that just an accident, or was that meaning something?
Well, I think the initial idea was an accident, but if they were really smart in their advertising and promotion, they could have done it on purpose. I mean, it could have been product placement by Starbucks, and it could have been to create buzz about the final season. There's only 2 episodes left as of the date we're filming this.
I know. I've heard all about it.
So it could. Why do you think it's purposeful, or do you think it was an accident?
I don't know, but I find it hard to believe that when they're editing that they didn't.
Well, I find it hard to believe when they were shooting, somebody didn't.
Notice
it's not somebody's job to make sure all the coffee cups are picked up.
I'm pretty sure it is somebody's job. They had one job.
Yeah. Well, because...
So that's why I think it wasn't an accident.
Because, you don't want to have a bunch of swords and spears over there in the corner and then somebody notice there's a, one of those mop and glow thingies sticking over there too, or a dust broom or something weird like that.
I don't know. But I mean, I guess when you're doing so much and you have so much going on, things can happen.
Well, it was the picture. It was Mother of Dragons sitting at a table, and there wasn't a whole lot of other stuff on the table but the coffee cup. So it wasn't like it was find Waldo. Where's Waldo? Where it was hard to, it's the bar games where they show you 2 pictures, you got to pick out which one's different. The differences between. It wasn't hard to spot. It was sitting right out in the middle of the table. I think it might
mean something.
All by itself.
That's what you're saying. You think that was a product placement?
Well, it wouldn't have. I mean, pure product placement would be, hey, I'm having a Coke, but.
But it was a Starbucks and this. I don't know when it's even set, but a long time ago in the medieval ages,
yes,
right?
Medieval stuff.
Yes.
So I don't.
There was no Starbucks back then.
No, there was. Well, but there is now because all the people on the internet have made these memes about, and they've taken pictures of the castle and put a Starbucks in. So
that's hilarious.
So now there's all kinds of.
So is this the
Starbucks.
last season?
It's the last season, and there's only 2 shows left.
And how many seasons were there?
So I think there was 8. I don't know. I typically we typically binge watched it. So which throws your seasons and stuff all off anyway. But basically we would wait till it was on Netflix because we used to live out where we couldn't even get cable really.
Oh wow.
And so we had Netflix where you get the CDs. You mail them back and forth, the DVDs, they mail them to you.
When it first started,
But they wouldn't release the Game of Thrones season on the CDs until the next season started. So we were always a year behind. So when the next season started, we would get to watch last season. And so now we're here and we can watch it real time.
So you're catching up.
But so I don't know, 6, 7, 8, something like that. And plus, I think their seasons were weird. They'd have 8 shows and then be off for 8 months and then have.
I hate that about these new shows that are on HBO or on the not ABC, NBC, CBS, those other stations. They do have. There are only 10 shows or less, and then it's almost a year before you have to wait. I hate that too.
So that's a whole nother topic here, but that drives me nuts because if you remember, seasons used to be the same as the school year.
Right.
So in the fall, your show would start, and it would be every week until the spring when school was out.
Well, and that's the way they are on the main channel still.
Well, because
there's 26 episodes.
Right, so it would get warm, and people would be outside doing the garden, doing lawn, and so they weren't inside watching TV, so everybody took off the summer. But then when school started back up, harvest was in, all that other sort of stuff, all winter long, your show was on.
Right.
And now their seasons are willy-nilly. And to be honest with you, there's been several shows that I've started to watch, and then they stop, and then it's so long before they start going again, or I can't tell when they're going. I miss them starting again, and it's like, you know what, never mind.
I've felt the same way about some of mine. I just rather wait till they're all done, and then I'll binge watch them too.
Yes, that's the way to do it, is because, there's not that many spoilers and stuff out there. And,
no.
Yeah. So
speaking of spoilers, did you see the big Avengers?
Oh, the end game or whatever? I have not.
Ooh, I can do a spoiler.
Did you see?
Of course. I went to see it the weekend it opened.
So she hasn't seen Game of Thrones. I haven't seen Endgame.
Ooh.
So, but we did watch Infinity War. We watched that actually not that long ago.
So I think the second one is better than Infinity War. I didn't cry like everybody else, but...
Oh, so it's got a sad ending. Thanks for telling me.
Or maybe it's a happy tears.
Who knows? Yeah, I'll probably wait until it comes out on Netflix or something.
Really?
I don't like going to theaters because I usually end up wanting to kill somebody, and that's not a good thing.
So they have theaters now where they have like lounge.
Yeah, but you're still going to have some butthead on his phone texting back and forth, and phones ringing, and people
you don't go
with a cold and measles trying to hack up measles germs on you.
Oh, so somebody went to see Avengers with
the measles.
Yeah, and so now there's a big. That's kind of
so one of my booths.
You're in there for 3 hours with those people. That's a long.
See, now that's one of the other reasons I don't like to watch movies is because I'd rather sit at home, watch the movie, drink my beer, and be able to pause it when I got to go up and go to the bathroom. I can't do that in a movie, and odds are, especially, you get your little soda, your popcorn or something, you're not going to make it 3 hours without having to go to the bathroom unless you go in there and you fast.
So, there are actually, sites where you could go and they would tell you when's the best time to go to the bathroom. That's how long that movie was. Yeah,
the best time to go to the bathroom is after I wait for it to come out on Netflix and watch it at home while I get the pause button. That's what I say.
So I guess I'm not a big Marvel person. I kind of liked Thor for obvious reasons, but there is a really cool one. I'm not going to try to do spoiler or anything, but somebody in the Endgame is named Morgan. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, we're just lucky that the Avengers don't have Bear Man.
Ooh.
He would be your favorite.
And I might, yes. Then I would probably have to tune in.
Now, we did just watch Aquaman 3 days ago. So, we're kind of behind the times.
You are behind the times.
But it was okay. It was kind of, I don't know.
The first couple minutes I thought were really campy. And then I thought it was pretty good. I got into it.
Yeah, I don't know. There were some kind of confusing parts. I didn't know Aquaman was like Superman, where you could try to stab him with a sword and it wouldn't go in. And you could shoot him with bullets, and his bullet. I didn't know Aquaman was bulletproof. I thought he could talk to whales and dolphins and breathe underwater. I didn't know he was like Superman.
I don't know. I don't. So when I was a kid, I watched The Man from Atlantis. And for a long time, I thought The Man from Atlantis was Aquaman. But I guess they're totally different people.
But in the Aquaman movie, he is from Atlantis.
Right.
So
I don't know. But so do y'all remember that movie?
I get confused by the whole DC Comics and Marvel Comics and who belongs to what team, and it all gets confusing.
So the Avengers are Marvel, the Justice League is DC.
Yeah,
I know that. Pretty impressed with myself.
I'm pretty impressed too, but yeah, I just never, I guess, cared to know who was who.
Okay, so who is your favorite superhero?
Ooh, my favorite superhero. The one that nobody can kill. I guess. I don't know. Dracula?
But Dracula is not a superhero.
He lives forever and he can fly and turn into a bat. That's pretty cool. He lives in an old castle. That's cool.
I would definitely have to say
and nobody
Thor.
ever bugs him to go catch criminals. He gets to do all this stuff and has no obligations. The more I think about it, I'm going with Dracula. Dracula is my favorite superhero.
Okay, then. I like Thor for obvious reasons.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if we're going there, then my favorite's Wonder Woman. But I mean,
So it wasn't very long ago that I just figured it. Well, because the movie came out, I did not know that Captain Marvel was a girl.
Well, yeah, I get confused by that kind of stuff because there's like Captain America and Captain Marvel. And Captain, I was like, who's this Captain Marvel? And I looked up Wikipedia, and it was like, she was like made appearances in a bunch of different, onesies and twosies comic books here and there over the years, and now I understand that she's like even more powerful than like Superman, right? Because Superman was always like
Superman is
the most powerful.
DC.
Well, that's what I see.
Captain, no, that's Marvel. Yeah, I see. You have issues.
Yes, I have comic book issues.
Lots of issues.
Actually, I don't have any comic book issues, which is probably why I have comic book issues.
So, we started talking about Game of Thrones, which we got off that subject. So, Downton Abbey. Did you see Downton Abbey?
For a second, I thought you said gay Miss Crohn's. I'm like, which superhero's gay Miss Crohn's?
No, I said Game of
I know,
Thrones.
I realize what you said, but my brain thought you were rattling off another character, and it was gay Miss somebody.
No.
Exactly.
So, did you see Downton Abbey?
No.
You should.
I don't watch a lot of TV, and what I do watch is pretty niche. But I do watch Game of Thrones. I watch Doctor Who. I watch Young Sheldon. I watch Curse of Oak Island.
Oh my!
Do you watch Curse of Oak Island?
I do not, but my husband loves that.
Yeah.
I think it's the stupidest thing ever.
Well, so my wife started watching it, and I started watching it, and I got hooked vicariously through her watching it. See, I hate to start, like, somebody will tell me, oh, this is a great new series. I'll be like, well, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to get hooked on another series of TV that I have to watch. We got hooked on The Blacklist. Had to watch that, and a couple other different shows, and it's like, I just do not get into a series.
So let's go to this Oak Island thing.
Oak Island, yeah.
Okay, so my husband watches it, and I think he's like angry at the end of every episode because they didn't find anything.
Yeah, well,
and he's just like, it's like all in because he doesn't want to stop. The only time I kind of get interested is every once in a while they'll talk about Marie Antoinette, because there's a possibility that her jewels were hidden away there. That kind of piques my interest for a few minutes. But, yeah.
So these shows, and they've got, the lost gold of World War II and the lost gold of the Civil War and the lost whatever. Some guy traipsing around in South America looking for the Incas gold. Most of these shows are kind of all the same, but they're almost like the ghost hunter shows, right? And the Bigfoot shows, where it's the same show every time. It's like somebody traipsing around in the woods at night with an infrared camera going, did you see that? Did you see? Did you feel that? Did you hear that? And that's it. At least with the Curse of Oak Island, they do find stuff. Now, it may take you an hour for them to dig up an old penny and a rusty nail, but at least you got an old penny and a rusty nail, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'd rather do in an hour than watch people dig up and find a penny and a rusted nail.
Yeah, well, but that's kind of what they do.
Now, if they ever find Marie Antoinette's jewels,
her skeleton dressed up in a fancy dress.
We know where her skeleton is. Oh. It's her jewels that escaped because they were planning this escape, but then they got caught. But what happened to all of her stuff? And I guess they think somehow it ended up on Oak Island. So if they find that, I will tune in for that because that'll be pretty interesting. Well, other than that, I just sit there and look at my husband like, really?
Well, see, we do have this. Me and the wife have this small debate where every time the show comes on, not every time, but it's like, I wonder if they found the treasure yet. I'm like, if they would have found the treasure, it would be on CNN before it would be on the Curse of Oak Island. That's just my take.
So do you think that the nail and the penny that they find, did they bury it there to find?
Well, no, they're like pennies from 1600s.
But they have found a couple of things that are kind of remarkable. Do you think that they were planted there for the show?
No, well, you can obviously tell some stuff is staged. Okay, it's like the Biggest Loser. This used to drive me nuts. The Biggest Loser. Okay, they would have the thing and they'd be at home and they'd be cooking food in the kitchen and sitting down to the kitchen to eat and the knock on the door and they'd be surprised that it was what's her face. I can't even remember her name. And I'm like, the clue could have been the camera crew in their house filming them making breakfast and eating. But, people just, they don't even think about the fact that, okay, this stuff has to be staged,
Right,
it's like,
right.
How come there was a camera on the inside in the living room filming this guy going to answer the door, and they think that they surprised him. Well, no, there's a lot of that stuff that has to be staged in order to catch it on camera. So I think a lot of that sort of stuff is like that.
So and I actually got into watching it too. The something wars, Storage Wars.
Yeah, Storage Wars. Yeah.
That was pretty interesting because of the fighting between the people, but what they would find and cleaning out the stuff, and it was pretty. I'm sure that it really helped storage auctions.
Yeah, but they found something, opened it up, and been like, "Oh, this is cool," and put it back and get a better camera angle and.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that stuff was.
You think they planted it?
Yes. Oh yeah.
You never know. I wouldn't be surprised.
So what?
It's Hollywood. It's all fiction. It doesn't matter.
So what other reality shows do you watch?
I don't watch I like watching documentaries.
Have you ever watched the Kardashians?
No.
I haven't either. No. So, this is several years ago. I really had, for a long time, this don't watch any reality TV because it'll mess with my kids' idea of what reality really is because I just thought it was so fake. And, but my kids got me watching the Honey Boo Boo. I didn't watch very much of it, but I watched a couple episodes and I gotta say I kind of got pulled in. But my kids loved Honey Boo Boo. And one time I
live in Tennessee now. If I want to watch Honey Boo Boo, I go down to the Walmart.
That's true.
See, you knew where I was going.
I knew where you were going. Well, one time I went up to tell the kids, and my kids are really separated in ages. So I have right now they're 26 and 19 and 15. So big age gap. So they didn't do very much together. You wouldn't find them together very often. And it's girl, boy, girl. And I went upstairs into Sarah's room, and she was probably 16 at the time. And Nathan and Caitlin were in there, and they were mesmerized by Honey Boo Boo because Mama, I don't remember her name, had some kind of sore on her toe. And they were talking about it. And my kids, they didn't want to come to dinner because they were so mesmerized by this sore on Mama June's foot. I actually remember her name well. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So, that's one of the words I would use for it is.
But I gotta admit, I did watch a couple episodes of Honey Boo Boo.
No.
Yeah, it was funny. But I have not really many other stores where I like the American Pickers. I do like that
well,
show.
the wife watches that. I will occasionally watch it. I watch Antique Roadshow on PBS.
I don't really watch that one, but American Pickers are cool, and we've been to the store in Nashville. Have you been there?
No.
Oh, you gotta go.
No, I don't.
They have like really cool stuff
Have you seen
that you can't afford.
the room that we're sitting in? It looks like it's out of American Pickers.
Yeah. He has like snake eggs in the bottles.
Snake eggs, and snake skins, and
yeah.
It looks
creepy.
like American Pickers. Why would I need to go to a store? I have everything right here.
You do. But that's one that's really good. I like it a few years ago when they were like super popular.
Right.
And like, remember when the Hatfield and McCoy show was coming on? So they would go to where the Hatfield McCoys are really from and like find Hatfield and McCoy stuff. And they did that for a couple different shows. That was really cool. I like those.
Okay.
You remember that? The Hatfield and McCoys?
Yeah.
That was a good show.
I watch it sometimes when...
Not the stupid little sitcom, like the real Hatfield McCoy story.
Oh, I thought you were talking about American Pickers still.
Kevin Costner was in it. Well, I was talking about American Pickers and how they would go to these places the kind of historic. They would do historic picks that go along with shows that were going to be on.
No,
like
I'm not much on historic shows. I would much rather watch like the Orville or something futuristic.
Speaking of, we have really
wandered around. We're still on TV genre though. Still Game of Thrones.
But now I'm getting us off that because a couple weeks ago, I went to Fort Pillow, and we happened to go up there.
She told me about this the other day at work that she went to Fort Pillow. I said, "You mean a pillow fort?"
Yeah, no, it's a really cool. It's like from the Civil War. It's the battle that happened there was like the most controversial battle of the Civil War. You gotta do your history. It's pretty interesting. But they were doing a reenactment thing.
Did they build a pillow fort?
No, it's a real fort. But they were doing a reenactment where they were setting off the cannons. Those cannons were super loud.
Yeah, most of them are.
And I was thinking, you know how they would march out into battle, and so like the first people that are gonna always die. So you want to be in the back. And they would march out. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
To start and shooting. And, I just kept on thinking as I was hearing all those cannons going off, I would have gone and hid. I would have been a yellow belly.
Well, I was going to say there are people that did that.
I'm sure they did a lot. And I would have been one of them because just the sound of the cannons was scaring me.
Yeah.
But you need to go and check Fort Pillow out. It's pretty interesting.
All right. I'll put that on my list.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to go.
I didn't say which list. List of things to never do.
It's really pretty. That's right over the bluffs of the Mississippi.
All right.
You got to go. You get to go past the prison on your way there.
Did they have a Starbucks cup there on the battlefield?
No, they did not. I don't know. Probably somebody did.
Right.
But I did not.
Well, somebody was...
I got a cool walking stick.
Whose job was to make sure there were no Starbucks cups during the Civil War reenactment thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's important.
It is.
Because if you don't, then you end up with episodes like this. Do we say goodbye? Goodbye.